So G8A Architects, we are a Swiss firm. We used to base in Geneva. We arrived in Vietnam 17 years ago, set up in Thái district in Hanoi. We just moved to a brand new office here. We remain still in the same neighborhood that we love very much. Our company is in Vietnam. We also work on projects in Singapore and Switzerland. So we keep the practice in these three different countries to a bit to keep the roots, our Swiss roots, in architecture.
And myself, I'm Grégoire Pasquier from Switzerland. So I think Laurence mentioned about everything of the office, but basically we are clearly designers in architecture, master plan, and interior design plus landscape. I think from the beginning when we arrived almost 20 years ago in Vietnam, it was interesting to see how we could adapt the strategies that we have learned for so long in Europe, and how you can apply this with the same logic but differently, because Vietnam and Switzerland, you know, it's about everything the opposite. So we had to reconnect a bit with this. It took a bit of time, but I think after 20 years, I think we're used to, we're not Vietnamese purely, but a little bit in the mindset now, and I think we know how to adapt to Vietnamese culture and projects. Well, first of all, we are super happy to have won those awards, and I think that's some kind of a recognition. But I have to say that we don't do architecture for awards. This is now not really how it works. In our spirit, really, we think from the beginning when we arrived here, but this is what we were doing already back in Switzerland and Europe, is always to try to work on projects that make sense. And for us, making sense is finding sustainable solution, try to find also a project that help the community. Obviously, all the economic aspects and everything this is something that we need to answer for the clients, and of course we integrate this in our project. But it was a good thing that when we received that awards, that somehow it's coming also in Vietnam, that sustainability values, those community values, they also make sense for the jury, but I think for our client too, and we are quite happy to see this being recognized here also in Vietnam. Well, it's interesting you mentioned about horizontal density, because you know we are in Hanoi, and I think Hanoi is the capital of horizontal density. Yes. The capital is more built horizontally than vertically. And Vietnamese, they love to live also around the ground, and you have all that complexity of the population, the exchange. And somehow the theme of the project was a bit the village of Hòa Lạc, and this is how we developed several projects for FPT. And in this project, I think we try to do the same. We like actually the scale of 3, 4, 5 levels, because we believe you're also closest to the ground, closest to the landscape, closest to the nature, to participate, to have exchange with this. And also what we like is, you provide more community feeling. The people, they can meet each other around the big courtyard that we built in the project of FPT. And I think all this makes sense because we introduce on top of it some sustainable values, like the ledge where the people are walking, create some shadow to the facade. And we come back to the initial values that we said before. We bring values for community, values for sustainability. That's what we try to do in this project, and I think the people are finding it interesting, and I think they kind of like it, so everyone's happy.
Well, first I told the client in the beginning came with a program and some request about flexibility. I asked to have like a very flexible floor plan. Then very big accent about the community, that people should work together and should connect it together. Then we are in Hòa Lạc, and the context in Hòa Lạc, we have been there, is extremely natural, a lot of landscape. We are not in the city center of Hanoi. And from all these constraints, we start by working on the typical block plan and the flexibility of the team to have like a small team, bigger team, middle team, was to extract the circulation from the main building, from the main floor plan. Then the people, we can set up like different scale of team within the floor plan, and the people can still be connected around this loop shape, this infinity shape on the building, so they can enhance the full connection between people, this horizontal connection. So we extract the circulation, we extract the service outside of the building in the tube bubble, I will say, in the yard, and then we place all the circulation outside, meaning that everyone, when they go to their office in the morning, they can use the outdoor inclusive, when they go for lunch, when they go for a walk. So you have also always this vision from one side to another one, which link the people together. And then we have, of course, this sustainability aspect with natural light from both sides of the building. So we are not cut by the circulation, by the core. So we have the light coming on both sides, but this light is also protected by very high cantilever element which protect from the heat in the building. So the floor plan, the section of the building, answer to the question of the client, to the request of the client, for like the flexibility, this community, and of course the sustainability aspect of the project. So all together, we end up with this very organic shape, which is fading in the landscape. So there is no need to be vertical. We talk about compact building, compactness, which is a theme extremely important in Switzerland. When the buildings are compact, to save the energy, the heat, the cooling, and then we create this horizontal village when people are linked by the landscape, by the natural light, by the fresh air.
Well, first of all, I think say to all these architects, work with passion, because I think architecture is before everything is it's a work profession of passion, and you need to put a lot of yourself into those projects. But also we like to say is we've seen too many projects in Vietnam that do not take care of Vietnam itself, of the land, of the community, that tend to like go only for profit, but do not respect basic values like the one we mentioned about community, sustainability. And if I had a message to say is, don't forget that you're not only here to build for developers, but you have some value to defend, and try to implement them as much as possible in your projects.
If I can add, it's like to always think ahead before presenting a new project. Always, of course, study the context, but not only the neighborhood, but like what is the economical concept or the energy concept about the building. What is all this context is very, very important to be the roots of the project. As a way to avoid any generic architecture and to react to what Gregor said, to something that, for example, in Vietnam can happen only in Vietnam and only in Hanoi when the context is so specific and quite beautiful.